Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying these beautiful warm days. I love summertime, I really do. One of the things I love about summer is that I get to wear bright clothes, colorful clothes, and jewelry as well. And as a jewelry designer, there's nothing that excites me more than seeing colorful beads and gemstones. So if you like that kind of thing, you're in the right place. We're going to be making that gorgeous necklace that you saw in the introduction. And it's actually pretty easy to make. The most difficult part about it would be the wire wrapping, I guess. And if you've never done that, don't worry, because I'll show you how to do that step by step. And I'll be using the beads that came in the bargain bead box for the month of June. And I know I'm a little bit late, but it's better late than never. Now before we get started, let me remind you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. I promise I'll deliver some great content for you. And don't forget to check down below in the description section of this video for information about bargain bead box, as well as a list of all the materials that I'm going to be using today and the tools as well. Another thing I like to leave down there are timestamps in case you want to skip forward to any portion of the video. And I will be modeling the necklace at the end of the tutorial, so stick around for that because it really does look different on the person than it does on the mat. I would say it looks a little bit smaller, a little bit daintier maybe. So anyway guys, I'm very excited to show you how to make this necklace. So let's go ahead, turn the camera around and we'll get started. And here we have bargain bead box for the month of June. As you can see, it's not a box, it's a bag. Maybe at some point it was a box and they just didn't change the name when they decided to go to organza bags. But anyway, the name of this collection is Summer Sunrise. I'm not going to do a very detailed unbagging today, but I do want to lay out the items on my board so you can see all the contents. So let me do that off camera and I'll be right back. And look at these beautiful, colorful beads, guys. I love colorful beads. And there is so much variety here. We've got some gemstones. We have faceted crystals, different shapes, different sizes. I really like it that they offer different size beads, ranging from the very tiny ones like these right here to the larger ones like those up there. They're called Crackle agate beads and they measure 10 millimeters in size. These are also agate beads, but they're matte as you can see, and these measure 8 millimeters in size. And then we have this pendant and this focal bead. The focal bead is a carved agate bead, and this pendant is Malaysian jade or dyed quartz. And here we have 2 Crackle agate teardrops. And the wire is actually 18 karat gold plated, so that's really nice. And here we have a strand of 6 millimeter Crackle agate beads. One of the nice things about bargain bead box is that they give you lots of metal components. They give you bead caps, spacer beads, and here we have a magnetic clasp, and that's actually 18 karat gold plated as well. We have some chain, that's steel chain, and I love this pendant and these 2 little charms. They're so beautiful. They're 18 karat gold plated as well. Let me see what the back looks like. There's the back. Very nice. It's so pretty. This one is so beautiful, it almost deserves to be by itself on chain. And these are adorable as well. There's the front, and there's the back. You could definitely make a pair of earrings, but I'm almost inclined to use one in a dainty necklace design. What I really love about this collection are the colors though. I love these beautiful colors, look at that. This one's like a pale teal. This one's magenta. We have an amethyst or a purple color. And then we have this color. I think it's called Magma. And by the way, when you sign up with Bargain Bead Box, you get a 30% off coupon code for their sister site, Beadbox Bargains. And they offer extras from previous collections, as well as a whole bunch of other things, including findings, chain, gemstones, crystals, check beads. I'll leave the link to that website down below in the description section of this video. I'll also leave a link to the Bargain Bead Box subscription website in case you want to go check it out. So anyway guys, what I like to do now is play around with these beads a little bit and see what I can come up with. I have some ideas about what I'm going to do, but I'm going to have to decide because I actually have several ideas. Whenever I see this much color, I get all kinds of inspiration. So let me play around with these beads for a little bit and then I'll come back and we'll make something. Well, I'm back and I've decided to make a Y-style necklace, and that's basically a necklace with a long drop, and these are the beads I'm going to be using. I couldn't resist all the colors, So I picked all the colored faceted crystal beads, as you can see. I also have some of the 6mm Crackle agate faceted beads. Now the faceting is not that noticeable. They're very soft facets, but I like the size. And I also have this little charm, which I'm going to attach at the bottom of the drop. This is actually going to be a very easy necklace to make. We're going to be making some beaded components with wrap loops. So I'm going to be using some craft wire, and this is Beaded. It's 22 gauge and it's in a gold color. I like this one because it's German style wire, which means it's a little bit harder than other wires. Now the beaded components are going to be arranged in a manner that makes them look random, but they're actually not going to be random. I do have a plan. Let me show you what I mean. I've already loaded some beads on this rod. This is one of my magic rods. I carry this product in my Etsy store. I like to use this just to arrange beads to see how they look, but I normally only use rods when I'm doing stringing projects, and today's not a stringing project, but I really didn't have a lot of room down there to show you what I want to do. So just pretend these are beaded components. Let me just separate them. So it's going to look something like this. The spacing is going to be very similar. But anyway, let me show you what I had in mind. I basically have larger beads and smaller beads. The larger beads are these faceted ones, the crystal ones. And the smaller beads are the Bicone beads and the agate beads. And I'm alternating between a small bead and a large bead. Let me show you what I mean. I have a small bead, which is the Bicone, and then I have the large bead in the purple color. And then the next one is a small agate bead, and then a large bead, a Bicone bead, a large bead, another small bead, the agate bead, and then a large bead, Bicone, large bead, agate, large bead, Bicone. The other thing that I've done is alternated the colors of the larger beads, and the sequence is purple, red, teal, purple, red, teal. And as you can see, I've alternated the smaller beads as well. So I have Bicone, agate, Bicone, agate, Bicone, agate, Bicone. So as you can see, there is a little bit of structure, but once we put them on wire, it's going to look like a random pattern. I hope that makes sense. So let me show you how I'm going to do this. I've cut myself a piece of wire and it's about 2.5 inches long, and I'm going to use this length for the smaller beads. For the larger beads, I'll need a longer piece. Using my round nose pliers, I'm going to grab the wire a little bit above the center point, like this, kink it, switch to this part of the wire, take the tail, wrap it around the nose of my pliers, flip my pliers around, continue to wrap to the back. As you can see, I have a loop, and now I'm going to create some wraps. I like to grab the loop with some skinny pliers, and these are actually crimping pliers, but I like to use these because they have skinny tips and they grab really well. And now using my needle nose pliers, I'm going to grab the tail and I'm going to do a couple of wraps. I usually only do 2. And now I need to cut off the excess, so I'm going to use my flush cutters. And always tuck in any little sharp end that you see. So now I'm going to load a Bicone, just like that. I'm going to grab the wire right where the bead is, kink it, switch to this part of the wire, wrap the tail around the nose, flip my pliers around, continue to wrap to the back, and I'm not going to close it because I'm going to attach another beaded component to it. So let me put it down for the time being. One thing you do want to do is line up your loops. So let me do that now. You want to make sure they're facing in the same direction. Just like that. I have a larger piece of wire here. This one's about 3 inches long. I'm going to grab it a little bit above the center point, kink it, switch to this part of the wire, wrap the tail around the nose, flip my pliers around, continue to wrap to the back, grab the loop with my skinny pliers, grab the tail, and do my wraps. Snip off the excess. Tuck in the little sharp end. And now I'm going to load one of these teal beads. And I'm sure you just heard my cats. Both of them are down here with me today. And whenever the two of them together, they start talking to each other. So now I'm going to grab the wire right where the bead is, line up the bottom loop, kink it, switch to this part, wrap the tail around the nose, flip my pliers around, continue to wrap to the back. I'm going to take this component now. Let me open up this loop. I'm going to insert this closed loop into the open loop, like this. Grab the loop with the skinny pliers, grab the tail, and do my wraps. Cut off the excess. Tuck in the little sharp end. So now we've connected two beaded components. And here I have another piece of wire. I'm going to grab it right above the center point, kink it, switch to this part, wrap the tail around the nose, flip my pliers around, continue to wrap to the back. Grab the loop, grab the tail, and do my wraps. Let me cut off the excess. Tuck in the little sharp end. The next bead will be one of these agate beads. Grab the wire with my round nose pliers, line up the bottom loop, kink it, switch to this part, wrap the tail around the nose of the pliers, flip the pliers around, continue to wrap to the back. Let me open up this loop. I'm going to insert the closed loop of this beaded component into this one, this open one. Grab the loop with my skinny pliers. Grab the tail and do my wraps. Snip off the excess. Tuck in the little sharp end. And that's what we have so far. I like to keep my workspace clean whenever I can. So that's basically how I'm going to build the entire necklace. So the next bead will be a red faceted one, a large one, followed by a bicone bead, and then a purple one, followed by an agate bead. And I'm going to continue the same exact pattern until I get the length that I need. I'm going to be building 3 strands, 1 for the drop and 2 for the strands of the necklace. The drop strand will probably be a little bit shorter than the other 2 strands. And I'm going to leave those ends open because I need to attach the charm at the bottom and the strands at the top. So I'm not going to do any wraps on the 2 beaded components at each end of that strand. I'll show you how to do that when I come back. So to save time, I'm going to build these strands off camera and I'll be right back. As you can see, I've completed all the strands. I have the 2 longest strands for the top of the necklace and I have the shortest strand for the drop. These 2 measure about 8 inches each and this one measures 3.5 inches. Obviously, you can make yours as long as you want to. Sometimes the size of your loops can affect the length. Just keep that in mind. But let me go over the sequence of these beads with you. This is the end that's going to connect to the drop. And I started with a bicone, and then a large teal one, then an agate, then a large red one and a bicone, a purple one, agate, teal, bicone, large red, agate, purple, bicone, teal. And I repeated the same pattern on this strand, but I did it in the reverse. So instead of teal, red, purple, purple, I did purple, red, teal, purple. So I'm still alternating between the colors, and I also alternated between the bicones and the agate beads. So in the end, it looks pretty random, even though it's not. I did make this loop a little bit larger. I'm going to be connecting the strands to that one. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me open up this loop a little bit. I'm simply sliding the loop of the strand into this open loop. And now let me do this one. Let me grab the loop with my skinny pliers, grab the tail, and do my wraps. Snip off the excess. Tuck in that little sharp end. So now we just need to connect the pendant or the little charm. Let me open up this loop. Slide the loop of the charm into the open loop. Grab it with my skinny pliers and do a couple of wraps. Let me line up my loops. Snip off the excess. Tuck in that little bit. And by the way, I followed the same pattern here, and I just realized that this one here should have been an agate bead. I don't know how I missed that. If you'll notice, I have the red, the purple, and the teal, and then I have an agate bead, a bicone, so this one should have been an agate bead. So let me quickly do that off camera and I'll be right back. And we're almost done. We just need to connect the clasp. Here's a clasp and 2 jump rings. Let me open up a jump ring. I like to use nice big jump rings. I believe these are 6 millimeters in size. Let me open it up. And now I'm going to slide the clasp on, just like that, and close it up. You want to make sure you close them really well. And now let me open up this one. Connect it to this end. Let me see if I can arrange it nicely on my mat. It's a little bit challenging because it has a very long drop, but I'll pan my camera down in a few moments. But anyway, guys, that's the finished necklace, and I really like it. I love the colors. I think it's adorable, definitely eye-catching, and very summery as well. Actually, instead of moving my camera, I think I'll move this little mat here to make things easy. There's the bottom. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. As always, I'd like to go ahead and put this necklace on to show you what it looks like. So let me do that and I'll see you in a few moments. Isn't this a cheerful necklace with all these colors and sparkles? I really love it. As you can see, it looks quite different on. In the tutorial, the beads looked a little bit bigger, and I guess the 8mm size is a little bit big, but when you combine them with the smaller beads, it makes the whole piece look a little bit daintier. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope I've inspired you. I hope I've given you some ideas about combining colors and combining sizes. Thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.